Welcome to Gresham High School for our last Mount Hood Conference game of the 1990 season. I'm Jim Shealy. With me is Jerry Ross, and we're here for the big Gresham traditional battle. Gresham School District pits Barlow against the Gresham Gophers. The Gophers, the #1 team from the Mount Hood Conference this year, having clinched that last week against Reynolds. The Barlow Bruins in a very do-or-die situation tonight as they are backs to the wall, fighting for that third or fourth playoff spot. And we'll go over that a little bit later as they're getting ready to kick off right now. And Jerry, this should be a great ball game.
Great ball game, Jim. The rivalry goes way back, and like you had mentioned, they're both the same in the same district. It's a great night. It's one of those nice, crispy football type of nights. We got a good crowd, and we really expect a lot of fine football here tonight.
Well, Dean Merlo getting ready to kick off for the Gresham Gophers, number 11. And back deep are Todd Kerr, number 1 for the Barlow Bruins, and Rich Nevis, number 33. And Marlo, a short kick going to one of the up men, number 44. And we have a flag down on the play. Clock is stopped immediately.
Yeah, Gresham offsides, Jim.
And of course, you know, it's going to be interesting, Jerry, because Gresham obviously has everything taken care of. They've taken care of business. They won the #1 spot last week in a very fine ball game that we had here on TV with Reynolds, 14-7, and they're going to be the #1 representative from the Mount Hood Conference. So they really have to fight to get up emotionally for a game like this.
That's very true, Jim. It's very easy to get a little bit complacent, but I think that maybe they like to beat their cross-district rival each time they play them anyway. So you have that particular incentive, and we'll find out, that's for sure.
Marlowe goes to Nevis. Nevis picks it up on the 16-yard line. Reverse to Kerr around the left side. Kerr hit over there by number 47, Todd McLean.
McLean was not fooled by that reverse, Jim. He did a fine job of staying with in his lane and covering the reverse man.
Of course, Barlow's really had an up-and-down season. They're in league right now. They're 3-3, 4-4 overall. They've got a very young backfield, although they've got a lot of experience back there, and of course they have a full season now under their belt. But they're basically mostly juniors in their backfield. Nevis at the tailback. Number 11, that's a give to Phil Freeman, number 11. Giving to Brandon Wiley, number 21, the up man.
Good hard run by him. There was not much there. Gresham was in their split 6 defense, and he ran kind of into the teeth of that defense that time. I imagine he did a pretty good job of getting 2 to 3 yards.
Brandon Wiley, a late turnout for the Barlow Bruins, and worked his way into a starting position, the only senior in that backfield. Phil Freeman, the quarterback, number 11. Quick pitch outside to Nevis. Nevis trying to get around the outside. Gets one block all the way down to the 39-yard line. Excuse me, the 34-yard line. Gets the ball out to the 34-yard line where it will be 3rd down and about 3 on the play.
Tim Camp made a fine block on the corner that time, Jim. He really got the yardage for Nevis on that. That was something that we saw against Reynolds. Reynolds could not establish the corner against Gresham with their pursuit and their toughness. But Camp did a fine job of getting that corner this time.
Number 66, Tim Camp, 6'7", 245. Straight ahead. That's Brandon Wiley again going for the first down, but it looks like he's been stopped short. He'll be about a half-yard short, it looks like.
It was Rick Nelson made that tackle, and I think that someone in the Barlow's squad missed their block because he was sitting right smack in the hole and stopped that play cold.
Nevis with number 33 back to punt, all-purpose back, do everything, and a fine ball player. Rich Nevis, number 33 to punt. Deep number 3, Jimmy Jones. And number 10, Rob Womack. They'll let the ball bounce, and it looks like it'll be whistled dead on the 34-yard line of Gresham, where Gresham will take over. And Barlow not able to establish that ground game, and that's one thing that, you know, we saw Reynolds last week. Definitely wanted to establish the ground game, had a few nice drives, but really tried to run against a team that really dared you to throw.
Well, again, that's the same situation Gresham's creating this time. They had about 9 men very close to that line of scrimmage and just daring Barlow to throw that ball.
Tyler Nagel, the quarterback, number 1. Up back is Ludwig, tailback. Matt Lessard, leading scorer in the Mountain Hood Conference, 49. Matt Lessard trying to get outside very quickly, and coming up awfully quick was Brandon Wiley, number 21. Wiley with a great open field tackle that time, just broke through the blockers and came up and knocked Lessard down and dropped him for a 2-yard loss, where it will be second down now and about 12.
Excellent effort by that young man. He was not blitzing, Jim. He read that and then shot up through that little seam and made the tackle for a loss. Very fine defensive effort.
Ryan Ludwig, number 42, is the fullback in the I formation. Matt Lessard, the tailback. Lessard, one of the leading scorers in the state and the leading scorer in the Mountain Hood Conference. Jimmy Jones split left. Gives to Lessard around the right side. He's looking for the corner, trying to get around the corner. He's there. Number 11 pursuing. He breaks one tackle all the way down. And just to midfield. Finally pushed out of bounds by number 10, Matt Boyle, but number 11 that time.
Phil Freeman, the Barlow quarterback, was playing out there as a safety and really underestimated Lessard's speed. He had good leverage on him, but Lessard still outsprinted him around the corner.
That's something we saw last week, Jerry, and Lessard is extremely deceptive. He's probably more quick than he is just flat out fast, but he has quick moves. He dips his shoulder inside, and that time Freeman really kind of took the wrong angle and went inside out rather than outside in on him.
I think he'll learn next time that Lessard's got a little bit of quick footsteps.
Split backs this time. Gives to Ludwig straight ahead. Ludwig gets about 3 or 4 on the play. Let's call it 3. Second and 7.
We saw a little bit of tendencies last week about Gresham. They really like to run the wide side of the field. And so far in this drive here, that's exactly what they've done. With the speed they have, they get that runner out in front and with a lot of space, and they gain a lot of yardage that way.
Of course, Barlow's got a big line, and if they can get around the corner on him, they can make some yards against him. Nagler, quarterback, gives to Lessard, off tackle, following his lead block and scrambling away close to the first down. It looks like from here he might just have it by the nose of the football.
It's going to be up to the spot. See where they're going to spot this ball.
It's right there. It's about 6-8 inches from the 40-yard line, and looks like they've marked the ball right about at that spot. So a little too close to call. We'll give them a chance to bring the chains in and take a look at it here. Well, Gresham definitely wants to have a good ball game this week. They'll be going into play next week against the number 4 team out of the Valley League, and that is still all up in the air. And of course, when you people see this game, we'll be a couple weeks into the playoffs, and hopefully the Gresham Gophers will be continuing their quest for an undefeated season, which they've had so far this year, and ranked number 4 in the state. Excellent ball club, just sound throughout. A lot of role players and really fine. Full house, it looks like. Give us Lessard straight ahead. Again, they're trying to establish that ground game. That's just straight ahead power football there.
Yeah, they're running that little blast play in there. Send the lead back in to try to clean up anybody that gets in the hole, and then Lessard comes in following him and then breaks either right or left depending on where he sees daylight.
Of course, this type of a situation for Gresham, they're trying to establish the ground game, but the thing that really broke it open for them last week was the pass. They're able to throw the ball and get outside. Oh, Lessard outside, still on his feet, running down the sideline. Lessard has a chance, and he's into the end zone, or did they mark him out of bounds? Touchdown, Matt Lessard on a great 38-yard run by Matt Lessard.
He has a real knack, Jim, of finding the seams. It looked like he was bottled up, that he was going to get 3 or 4 yards or maybe even 10 yards, but it did not look like he was going to break loose. But he did find a seam and get in behind people. I think we'll be able to see it here.
We'll take a look here, and he just gets a great block there. 72 lets him go by and steps through one tackle and does a great job. And even though Freeman comes over, he cannot get him out of bounds in time until he crosses the goal line. Marlow with a kick, and it's good. So Marlow adds the PAT to make it 7-0 in favor of the Gresham Gophers as they jump out with 7:43 to go here in the first quarter. To a 7-0 lead over Barlow, and I think this is the one thing that I'm sure Coy Zimmerman, the coach of Barlow, did not want to see is Gresham jumping on top so early.
You know, Jim, it's really very difficult to practice against a team like Gresham, in as much as they have that great speed in Lazard, and to try to simulate that with a second group or of people in practice is very, very difficult. And it looks to me like Barlow's prepared for that, but they are not prepared for that quick step of Lazard.
Well, he actually dipped in there. It looked like he was going to be taking an off-tackle path, and then he just slid to the outside and turned up so quickly. I think he really caught the defensive backs as well by surprise.
Yeah, he does. He's a fine runner. He's not only quick, but he does have that knack and that savvy to be able to find those openings and be able to use his downfield blockers as screens.
Barlow kickoff. Kerr and Nevis again back. Again, the reverse coming right this time. Nevis coming up, and no one fooled on that play. A 64 is in with a big hit. Jason Churchill, and number 25 also in, Aaron Vila. Both of them not fooled at all. And even though you run some deception, you still like to get a couple blocks. It didn't look like Barlow really got too many blocks on that situation.
I think Coy is probably very upset with that. It looked like a screen pass where you kind of let people through and then throw the ball over them because no one was hardly touched.
Freeman at quarterback. Wiley the up back. Nevis the tailback out of the I formation. Give us to Nevis. Nevis straight ahead. Again, following his lead back right into the line that time. And he picks up about 3 on the play. 3, call it 4 on the play, so it'll be 2nd down and 6 now. Ball marked on the 19-yard line. Correction, on the 24-yard line. I'll get things straight here. Ball on the 24-yard line of the Barlow Bruins as they take over with their second possession of the evening. Miller, split right. Back rolling to the right now is Freeman. Freeman looking for Miller. Miller gets the ball. Nice catch. Spin still on his feet. Finally taken down at the 33-yard line. Number 83.
I think we had the old catch and lateral play set up there, Jim. Freeman threw the ball to his the wide receiver, and then the back came around circling out and was ready to receive the lateral back. It was all set up, and it looked like that's exactly what they wanted to do. See if they could fool Gresham and get the long gainer.
Out of the eye again, Miller split right. Schuler, flank left, quick pass again out here to Miller. Miller makes a catch, tries to get up. Coming up very quickly was Rob Womack, number 10, and boy, we heard that pop up here. There was good action there, Jerry.
Yeah, that was a fine tackle by them. And this is something that Barlow has got to do. The little short passing game could be very beneficial to them to keep drives going because it's tough to run against that Barlow front 7, or the Gresham front 7, because they're just really tough against the run.
Todd Kerr now, split right. The I formation again. It's time to give us to Nevis. Nevis cuts it back inside and is very, very close to the first down with a nice move that time on 2nd and 5. Nevis did a great job, and it is a first down. You know, Rich Nevis is one of those non-senior backs that we've seen in the league, and we'll see here now. Hopefully we're going to get a chance. I guess we didn't get to see the replay on that, but Nevis is one of those fine backs, you know, that's going to be back next year. And throughout the league, every team has a junior running back or sophomore running back. So next year is going to be a great year in the Mounted Conference for running backs. Freeman back again, looking. He's got Kerr right here, and almost intercepted by Rob Womack, number 10, as he read it perfectly. And Kerr did a great job that time as a defensive back to break it up and avoid the interception.
Yeah, Kerr did exactly what you want a wide receiver to do, or any receiver to do. And that's if you can't get the ball, you make sure that the defender doesn't get it.
2nd down now and 10 from their own 43, the Barlow Bruins. Really going to a short pass game. Of course, as you mentioned, Jerry, that really helps loosen things up a little bit. You can't bring up the 9 men. As last week we saw Reynolds having to go against 9 men with their fine running backs that they have. And 9 people are just too many to try to find somebody to block everyone. Screen pass to the left now. That's Boyle, and boy, did they have that read out. And We had a chance to watch down on the sidelines, and everybody on the sideline saw exactly what was coming up as Boyle came in at the wingback position, and as he ran across the flow of everything, boy, I tell you, the coaches were going nuts yelling screen that time. They had that evidently scouted pretty well.
They did. You have this Gresham group is really quite a group. They have a lot of good savvy. To be able to run a screen pass against them, you better run a very nice one because it doesn't fool them.
3-minute quarterback drops right back. He's got a man on the outside here. That's Miller. Coming up quickly is Womack to make the tackle, and Miller makes the catch, but only for a gain of about, well, let's see, pick up about 8, we'll see on the play, so it's still going to be 4th and 7.
Phil Freeman's got to be careful, Jim, here. He kind of lofted that ball just slightly. Even though it was a timed pass, Womack is the type of guy that's going to pick that off if it's in the air too long.
Womack and Jimmy Jones back deep. Waiting for the punt from Rich Nevis. Nevis, oh, bad kick that time, up short. They'll let it roll. Not a very long kick that time, very short. In fact, but there's a flag down. It looked like there was motion on Barlow's part, just about a 23, 22-yard kick that time. So not one of Rich Nevis' better kicks.
No, I'm a little bit surprised that more coaches haven't gone to the leather ball for kicking, Jim. A rubber ball on a crisp night is like kicking a stone. The leather ball is a much nicer ball to be able to put your foot into it, especially when it is a little cool. And a lot of teams are going to that on their kicking game. But you could almost hear that that ball kicked from Nevis, and it sounded like he had kicked the bench instead of the ball.
It sounded like a crack rather than a pump that time. So Gresham will take over on their own 30-yard line. Tyler Nagley, quarterback. Ludwig, fullback now. Lassard shifting over to a split back. Give to Ludwig straight up, and Wiley meets him right in the hole, but Ludwig just keeps right on going and breaks through the grasp of Wiley and drives on up for about a 3-4 yard gain that time. We'll call it 4, so it's 2nd and 6 now.
Well, you know, that was not a good decision, I think, on Wiley's part. He's going to have to hit just a little lower because he's not the biggest man in the world, and in that case, Ludwig actually had the force to drive him backwards.
Jones, flank left, and we have some motion there on the Gresham side. Looked like one of the linemen jumped offside. We might mention that that fine offensive line of Gresham. Dave Hildebrand.
Dead ball, false start on the offense. 2nd down.
Number 50 is Dave Hildebrand. 52, Shane Bowen. 55 is Sean Markham. 72, Doug Boss. And 75, Bobby Kim. Those are the guys that make Gresham such an effective running team. It really, you know, Lassard's a great running back, so is Ludwig, but they can run some other folks in there, and with that offensive line, just about anybody's going to make some yards.
That's very true, Jim. And in the 2 games we've seen him, very few penalties, too.
Out of the eye, Ludwig in motion to the left this time. Option right. Quick pitch out to Lassard. The ball is fumbled. It's on the ground. Going for it. I'm not sure who's. There's still a scramble right now, and it looks like the officials have indicated that Gresham has recovered the fumble, but not before they lost about 10 yards on the play.
I think that was the center from Gresham that got back there, Jim, on that fumble. Really a hustling play on his part.
Didn't look like Lassard ever really had a handle on that, as Nagel had to make a quick pitch, as Barlow read that option pretty well and came up quickly and forced him to pitch kind of early.
They did. They had that covered man for man, and it was Nagel did have to get rid of that ball a little bit before he wanted to.
It'll be 3rd down and 21 now. The ball at the 18-yard line. Nagel back to pass, looking for it all down here for Jones. Kerr on the coverage, and Kerr makes the interception. A fantastic interception. Jerry, that was a great job by Todd Kerr, number 1 from the Barlow Bruins. Read that ball all the way, and Nagel kind of hung it up there a little bit, but Kerr did exactly what you want that defensive back to do. He caught it at its highest point.
Yeah, it was a kind of a funny ball. You will see it here on the replay, how the ball just kind of hangs. It really didn't turn over.
Oh, what a great job by Todd Kerr. And real sportsmanship on Jimmy Jones' part that time. Tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Great job, Todd." But boy, Kerr made a great play that time. Freeman at quarterback, split backs this time. Looks like a broken play as Freeman comes out here.
That would have been a fine play, but number 72, who is that, Jim? He just did a good job of fighting off the block. That's Doug Boss, and he did an excellent job. He was blocked, but he fought through that block, and Freeman had a seam. But he was able to get a hold of Freeman before he gained anything.
Of course, Doug Boss, a name that we mentioned a lot last week in that Reynolds game, just had an outstanding ball game, both offensively and defensively.
He's so quick.
Split backs again. Give us to Nevis on a little counter play, that time a trap, and well, I tell you, they are just stuffing it at the line of scrimmage. Getting up there so quick. 75, Bobby Kim was in there right away.
Yeah, Brian Ludwig, he reads those things so well. And he came from that linebacker spot, and there was a hole. At the line of scrimmage, there was a hole. But he was in it before you could hardly say his name.
It's interesting, they do have a number of key people going both ways. Ludwig, of course, goes both ways, and Kim and Boss, all those people are two-way players, so some great athletes for Gresham High School. Out of the eye, Freeman straight back to pass, pretty good protection. And I think he had second thoughts as he started to let that go. He saw about 4 defenders, blue shirts all around his receivers, and he had 2 receivers right next to each other. It looked like they might have got mixed up on the pattern that time.
I think you're right, Jim. I think he went to hold up on that ball, and it was kind of like he had gum in his hand, and the ball stuck there a little bit and then kind of fell to the ground.
Barlow to punt again. Of course, it seems like almost every game Barlow pulls one fake punt someplace along the way. But they'll punt this one as Nevis gets a kickoff. Another tough kick as he shanks it off the side of his foot, and it goes out of bounds after just about a 14-yard punt.
That's a little bit unlike Nevis because he usually is not rattled. Right this particular time, it looks like he's trying too hard, or he might be aware of Gresham's quickness and rushing the punter. But he's not kicking the ball like he normally does, and he needs to just kind of get his confidence, and he punt that ball good.
Well, 36 seconds to go here in the first quarter with Gresham leading 7-0. Tyler Nagel brings him up. Back split this time. Give us to Lassard. Lassard trying to run that off tackle hole again, and no doing that time is number 45. David Bennard comes up very quickly and makes a tackle right there. About a 1.5 yard gain, 2 yards we'll call it, 2nd and 8.
Bennard did a fine job there, staying low. Ludwig was supposed to kick him out from his fullback spot, or the near back spot, and he was so low that he couldn't get the block on him, and he was right there to make the stop on the ball carrier.
Looks like that'll be the last play of the quarter as we have 2 seconds, and that will be the end of the first quarter as the Gresham Gophers have jumped out to a 7-0 lead, but the Barlow Bruins are hanging tough, looking for that playoff spot. We'll be back with second quarter action right after this.
By age 21, many young people will have faced more decisions than their grandparents faced in a lifetime. Decisions about educational and career paths, sexuality, drugs, and alcohol. Decisions that can make or break their future. School counselors are professionally trained to work with both you and your child in making the right decisions. Encourage your child to meet with their school counselor today. To learn how you can help, write Tips for Parents, the American School Counselor Association, 5999 Stevenson Avenue, Alexandria, Virginia, 22304.
And we're back getting ready for the first play of the second quarter now. As the Gresham cheerleaders have to be pleased with the way that their team's performed so far. Tyler Nagel, quarterback out of the I formation. Lassard's the deep back. Ludwig the up back. On the rollout this time. Bootleg that time. Good action and a great fake that time.
Too bad.
By Nagel, but unfortunately, number 89 unable to hold on with Wells Green.
Yeah, that was too bad. It was an excellent executed play, and I'm sure that Green is very unhappy with himself because Nagel hit him right on the number 9.
Well, I tell you that, what a great fake that time by Tyler Nagel. It looked like the entire Barlow defense had read the run, and Nagel just carried out the fake beautifully and then came up and threw the ball and Hit it right between the 8 and the 9, but unable to hang on to it was Wells Green. The wing back to the right is Jimmy Jones. Flanked out, or split to the right is Rob Womack. Lassard comes in motion to the right, back to pass. Nagel over the top and intercepted this time. Number 11 is Phil Freeman. Phil Freeman down the sideline, and coming over, helping to knock him out was Tyler Nagel. Also there, number 50, Dave Hildebrand, to bring down Phil Freeman, but a well-read pass that time by Phil Freeman.
Exactly, Jim. Exactly. He read that. He was watching Nagel's eyes, and he came from that safety spot and picked that ball off just exactly the way you practice it.
Well,
Very fine job by Phil Freeman.
Freeman has to get up now and run the entire offense. Number 11, the quarterback, come out there in a big break for Barlow, and this really could be the key for them. You know, we've been talking about the playoff picture, and Barlow wins tonight, and they still don't have a playoff spot clinched because it depends on what Central Catholic does against Centennial. So this is really a big game, as much for the district pride as anything else, as we have some motion along the line.
That's too bad. It's going to be a penalty on Barlow, because this is where Coy has got to pull out his ace in the hole. He's got to be able to get that ball in the end zone early now.
Dead ball, snap infraction on the offense, still first down.
That's too bad, because they needed that ball to stay in good field position. That backs them up just enough to make it tough to make that first down, especially against Gresham.
Ball spotted on the 37-yard line of Gresham. Be first and 15 now. In motion is Nevis out to the right. And this time it's Tim Camp, number 66, that lifted the hand. And of course, once those 5 interior linemen have a hand down on the ground, they cannot lift it up. And if they do, that's an illegal procedure penalty. That'll march them back. And, you know, this is something that's got to just frustrate the coaches, because you've played 8
Dead
games.
ball, false start on the offense, still first down.
You played 8 games, and you would hope that these types of things would be eliminated.
Yes, you can't afford this type of thing to happen. I'm sure Coy is just very, very unhappy at this time, but he hopefully has an ace in the hole that's going to give him some yardage.
Unbalanced to the right now, Nevis in motion. Freeman looking to the right. He's got a man out there, wide open, but well read by the defense. And that time, Mike Strand and Rob Womack for the Gresham Gophers were just kind of hanging out there playing center field. That ball hung up in the air as Freeman had to get rid of that very quickly. And both Womack and Strand were right there. Unfortunately, it was knocked to the ground, not intercepted.
He's that time, like you said, he had to get rid of that ball. He was thrown off his back foot, which is not good. And they had 2 receivers in the same spot, and it looked to me like they could have had a short man. There should have been a short man there.
And there we see Tim Camp again. But there must be something in the snap count that's throwing some folks off or something, because that's uncharacteristic of Barlow to have 3, especially on one series like this.
Yeah, that's
ball, false start on the offense, second down.
This must have been maybe something they put in as a wrinkle this week just for Gresham, and the only person that's catching is themselves.
So it'll be second down and 25 now. Ball is marked on the 47-yard line of Gresham. Freeman back, looks for the quick pass out here to Kerr. Kerr one-on-one with Womack, fighting Womack, and all the way down.
It appears we have a late hit too, Jim.
The 32-yard line, and there was a flag thrown in the backfield. It was a late hit, roughing the passer. And in the background, you can hear the Gresham coaches not in full agreement with that particular call.
Now what they did right there, what Barlow was doing right here, we see the replay. This is what they have to do. The Gresham defensive backs are playing well off those receivers. They got to throw that ball short and keep things under control rather than throw that thing up for a
Roughing the
possible.
passer here, 79.
Here we hear it. Roughing the passer.
Boy, that's a big break for the Bruins, as they have marched consistently backward with penalties on their own. And now, all of a sudden, we have a big penalty being marched off, and
it goes from the point of where the ball was completed, or where the play ended, Jim.
So that's tacked on to the end of the play, and that's a big first down for the Barlow Bruins. They'll move the ball all the way down to, looks like about the 19-yard line. Ball is marked on the 19-yard line, and
you can see that Gresham respects Kerr. Kerr's a fine receiver, and we have seen him 2 or 3 times this year, and in all the games we've seen, he's been a big factor in Barlow's offense, and you can see that Gresham is respecting him and giving him the underneath stuff, and I think that Coy has got to try to stay to that.
Of course, they have two really, well, a group of really fine receivers. They have Kerr, they have Miller, you know, and Boyle. All those people that can play on the outside, and if they get their hands on the ball, they're fairly quick. And as you said, that short passing game is really to their advantage to be able to run that type of thing and put them one-on-one isolated with a defensive back. And maybe they can break one. At that time, Todd Kerr able to fight off Rob Womack for an extra 10 or 12 yards, and then they tack the penalty on it. It's first down now from the just inside the 20, we'll call it the 19-yard line of Gresham. The Barlow Bruins on the march now. Nevis, the tailback. In motion is Tim Camp. And a great, great play. Number 79 coming up and slipping underneath is Jeremy Kingsbury, who just gets an ankle tackle. And we saw Kingsbury getting his hand in there on Carl Brody last week from Reynolds, and he did the same thing to Rich Nevis this time. It's interesting formation that time, Jerry. They lined up with Tim Camp as a tight end, or actually as a wingback, and put him in motion to lead the sweep that time.
It was unusual. I imagine you expect your ball carrier to get up behind Big Tim and run that ball, but it wasn't so that time.
Freeman looking, he's got a man outside. That's Kerr, and Kerr with a great catch on the outside. Womack pushes him out of bounds, but a nicely thrown ball as it was thrown well before Kerr had made the break, and it was there as Kerr turned around, and Kerr with those great hands as we have seen throughout the season.
Well, Womack was there, Jim. Womack was right there, but that ball was thrown in such a position, we'll see it here on the replay, it was thrown in such a position that the only person who could get it was the receiver.
Third down and 1 now. 3rd and 1. Quick pass out here, and oh boy. Tell you, that time, wide open was Todd Kerr, and Phil Freeman, with a little adrenaline flowing that time, just let the ball fly on him. Okay. Unable to hang on to it was Todd Kerr.
They've got to get this first down. They're just, this is almost the ball game here for them. If they don't get this first down, I think sad, but maybe true, they could possibly experience a letdown.
Give us to Nevis. Nevis, nice up inside. Looks like he has that first down as he got over the 10-yard line down to the 8-yard line. So a nice job by Rich Nevis as he got down in behind the right side of that line. Number 77 was Adam Reschke, and number 66, Tim Camp, leading the way there. And Nevis just got in behind those two big hunks and just followed them for a first down yardage. So it'll be 1st and goal now. Ball spotted at the 8-yard line.
I can't think of a better short yardage play than to have Nevis up behind those two big boys.
Freeman brings him up out of the power eye this time. And motion that time, as you can see the flag fly. And it looked like Nevis got his feet moving a little bit before the snap of the ball.
It's too bad. Barlow is just, they've experienced 4 penalties now on this drive for a total of 20 yards. They overcame the 15 yards that they'd lost, but now they just can't afford to lose any yardage
illegal motion on the offense. Routine first down.
In this area, because it just is tough to run in there against that Gresham team. They're going to be stacked in there. Hopefully, they might be able to use a passing game still.
Boyle
maybe bust one loose.
Flanked out to the left, Kerr to the right. Freeman looking for Kerr again. Kerr has the ball and coming up very quickly. That time is Rob Womack. They pick up about 3 or 4 on the play. The ball will be spotted right at the 10-yard line, it looks like.
Womack's coming up awful hard, but he's such a good defensive player. I don't think he will go for the sideline and go. But it would be a good play to call at this time, because you do have enough room to get into the end zone. Make that short out pattern, a little pump fake by Phil Freeman, and then go straight up and get it in the corner of the end zone. It's a possibility. 2nd
goal from the 10-yard line now. Freeman gives to Nevis. No, he fakes to Nevis. Drags his man across the middle. That's number 2, Derek Garrison, the tight end. And Garrison dragging across the middle on a great fake that time by Freeman. It looked like he'd given it off to Nevis. The defense went for it, but Derek Garrison, the tight end, Comes across from the left side in a crossing pattern and gets the ball down to about the 3-yard line.
That was a good play call by Coy Zimmerman or his offensive coordinator, whoever's calling them down there, because that was something he hadn't used before, and they were covering those wide outs, and so that it was for the tight end to sneak out there was a good play.
Boyle flank left, Kerr split right. Camp wing back in motion. Give us to Camp or to Nevis trying to follow Camp, and boy, I'll tell you what, Gresham knows how to handle Big Tim Camp when he's in motion like that.
They are so, Gresham again, we talked about it last week, and they have such good overall team speed that someone even the size of Camp is not going to be able to be that big of an asset. Gresham just seems to get around him, get under him, get over him, and they swarm. And that time they swarmed right through there where they wanted to run.
Those guys up front are doing a great job in terms of controlling the line of scrimmage and forcing him. Camp again going in motion to the left. Fake this time, fake out to Nevis out here. Outside in the end zone, knocked away. Pass intended for Todd Kerr. That's Rob Womack who knocks the ball away in the end zone. So the Gresham Gophers will take over on downs as the Barlow Bruins unable to convert after getting down to the 5-yard line and having 4th and goal from the 5. Knocked away by Rob Womack in the end zone.
Good defensive play, and it was just inches one way or another for the receiver to get that ball. It was a good play. They faked the run that they had run in the previous play, and then carried a bootleg pass.
Tyler Nagel brings him up, number 1, out of the I formation. Lassard, the deep back. Give us to Lassard, off tackle. Lassard still churning, still driving, all the way up to close to the 10-yard line. Will be marked at the 10-yard line. 5-yard pickup on the play, so it'll be 2nd and 5. And, you know, when they get down there, they are just so tough when they have to grind it out. They use that quickness, and again, the size is not what you normally expect to see from the Gresham offensive line, but still they're solid, but their quickness is just really impressive this year, Jerry.
Yeah, they get off the ball almost a half a count before the defense reacts. And this is exactly what they did against Reynolds. They got out of the hole, which really hurt Reynolds and could do the same to Barlow if Barlow can't keep him down in there.
Boy, that's Matt Lassard going up there again, and Lassard just, a late call by the official here. Kind of an interesting situation. We'll see what happens as we come in here.
That's sad, because that looked like the whistle had blown, and he was, I couldn't hear the whistle, but it looked like the play had stopped.
Yeah, they had stopped, and the officials were starting to converge, and all of a sudden, the ball popped out, and one official pointed the other way.
Well, this is a real break for Barlow. Again,
we'll see it right here as he comes in. Running, tackle. Now the ball pops out. A little bit late on that call, but certainly a big break for the Barlow Bruins as Nevis going to the outside, trying to get around the outside, but unable to do so as 45 comes up Mike Meyer. And a necktie tackle as he breaks through the onrush of blockers and just throws Nevis out of bounds.
Well, on that fumble, we're quite a ways away, Jim, but evidently the ball had dropped out while he was still battling for yardage and was kind of being kicked around by people's knees and what have you. Because from here, it really looked like a kind of a poor call, but it had to be out before we saw it.
Well, another breath of life now for the Barlow Bruins down here and straight ahead. And boy, does Gresham rise to the occasion. Leading it in there is Dave Hildebrand, number 50, with the first contact, and not much gain on that play either, as going to be 3rd down and 10 now from their Gresham 15, and the Bruins just unable to make any headway against that tough defensive line of the Gresham Gophers.
Well, they know they're going to have to throw now, and of course Gresham knows that. And they'll either be really blitzing hard or stacking up on those wide receivers.
Boyle out here to the left on a little slant pattern, and unable to hang on is Matt Boyle as he was wide open. He had the position, great slant pattern. Ball is thrown right there, and just a little bit of a bobble, but Jimmy Jones comes up and puts a hit on him as the ball was being bobbled around. So a good defensive play by Jones, but
That's too
unfortunate
bad
for the Bruins.
It really is, because Phil Freeman threw that ball very nicely, hit him right on the numbers in stride. He caught the ball close to the 5-yard line, would have given him a first down and put him in that position again to be able to score. Now we're back to 4th down with 10 yards to go, and it's a whole different story.
Ball is on the 15-yard line. Looks like they might be contemplating a field goal here. Of course, Rich Nevis is their field goal kicker, or has been. They've had some other people, but basically Nevis has been their kicker. So it'll be interesting to see whether they decide to go for the field goal or throw it up for grabs and go for the end zone again. And of course, again, Barlow always seems like in every, especially key game, has some type of a fake kick situation.
Yeah, they have. I think that probably the Gresham coaches are a little unhappy with Jones on that too, because you never let that receiver off to the inside down there, and that's exactly what happened. And it's too bad the boy dropped the ball, because it was a very well executed play.
Well, Rich Nevis is going to try a field goal. It'll be marked down at the 22-yard line, so it'll be a 32-yard field goal attempt. Ball is fumbled, can't get it down. Give to Nevis. Nevis looking downfield. He's got a man open in the end zone and goes for
it.
it.
Could be interference, and they didn't call it.
They did not call it, as Strand had tackled the receiver and pulled him down to the ground, but there was no flag on the play. So the Gophers will take over again on their own 15-yard line, as Nevis, on the fumbled snap, takes the pitch from Kerr and goes out, tries to find a receiver down there. We'll take a look on the replay here. There's a fumbled snap. Quick pitch out to Nevis. Nevis looking downfield. Now as he throws, you can see that right there, Strand had tackled the receiver, the potential receiver, pulled him to the ground, and there was no call, however, on the play. So the Gophers take over 1st and 10.
Very fine presence of mind for Nevis again. He knew just exactly what he was supposed to do and did it well.
Slot out to the right this time. Gives to Lassard. Sweep on the left side. Lassard fighting, trying to get a little extra yardage. Picks up about 3 or 4 on the play, but not much there, as they had the wide side of the field this way, and Barlow had containment, although he does pick up 5, and again, that's the quickness of Lassard.
That's exactly right. It looked like Barlow had that play stopped for no gain, but Lassard just has that ability to gain 3 or 4 or 5 on just a play that doesn't look like it's going to develop into anything.
He does such a fine job, Jerry, of just going down the line until he finds that little seam and then just exploding through it. And very fine running back, Matt Lassard. Number 49 in the Gresham backfield. He's back there with Ludwig. This time Ludwig gets the ball. Straight ahead is Ludwig, spinning, fighting, and just carrying people out to the 24-yard line, where he'll be about a yard short of the first down. So it'll be 3rd down and less than a yard. 3rd and 1 with 5:17 to go here in the second quarter. Gresham Gophers leading 7-0, as the Barlow Bruins have been turned away twice, as they have gotten the ball down deep into Gresham territory. Once on a drive, once on a turnover, but neither time were they able to get it into the end zone. Tyler Nagel, the quarterback, gives straight ahead again to Ludwig, and this time it looks like he got the first down as he's out over the 25 to the 26-yard line, and it will be a first down, 1st and 10 for the Gresham Gophers, as they are just going to straight power football now.
They're going to do what they have done so often this year, is they kind of lull the defense. They pound in there and pound in there and pound there, and then all of a sudden, here comes something that is very kind of uncharacteristic of that particular drive, and goes for the long gain.
Tyler Nagel brings him up. Ludwig, 42, one of the running backs. Lassard, the other running back. Jones, flanked out to the right. Quick pitch outside to Lassard. Lassard trying to find some open room out there. Does pick up a couple, but coming up very quickly was number 45 for the Barlow Bruins, David Benner. Benner with a nice job of reading, fighting off the block, and coming up and tackling Lassard, because that's one guy you don't want to let get by the line of scrimmage. He may skirt along there and pop up for 4 or 5, but we also saw last week that he can break the big one as well. Second down and 7 now. On the draw play, that's Lessard. Lessard still on his feet, breaks one tackle, breaks a second. Matt Boyle with a touchdown saving tackle as Lessard, just as I talked about a moment ago, Jerry, the one thing you don't want him to do is to get by the line of scrimmage because he can just blow by you, and Matt Boyle with a touchdown saving tackle that time.
It must be his quick feet. You see those tacklers hit him, and it looks like they've got him wrapped up, as we see here. And he just kind of pulls away. He just pulls that foot right out of the arms of the tackler.
Great run that time by Matt Lessard. So it's 1st and 10 now. Ball at their own 48-yard line as the Gophers are on the march. Looks like Nagel is audibly off. He moves them back now into the I formation and takes a little bit too much time, and it'll be a delay of game as the flags fly. But you can see that Nagel was thinking. He saw something that he wanted to change to, and unfortunately had to change the formation too.
Delay game. Offense. Repeat first down.
So it'll be 1st down and 15 now. Ball will be marked at the 43-yard line. Rob Womack coming in with a play from the sideline. Nagel checking. Evidently he has, underneath his jersey, he has a list of plays that he can go to. He has written down, so in motion is Ludwig this time to the left. Quick pitch outside to Lessard. Trying to get some blockers out there, and Lessard is tripped up. Looked like Phil Freeman, number 11, was one of the people to get a hand on him, along with Derek Garrison out there to trip him up and not allow Lessard to get that around that corner.
Barlow was very, very lucky there again. Gresham had established that corner, and there was primarily just one defensive back there. And he was the one that made the stop, because that was a very well executed play.
2nd and 12 now for the Gresham Gophers. Lessard in motion to the right. Back to pass. Nagel looking downfield, nothing there. Breaks through. He's got some open space now, and he comes up with a great run that time by Tyler Nagel, as all of his receivers downfield, to the credit of the Barlow Bruins, all the receivers downfield were covered. Nagel saw the seam and a well-formed pocket that time by the offensive line, and it just seemed to open like the parting of the Red Sea, and Tyler Nagel takes it down to another 1st down to the 39-yard line of Barlow.
See, they get that long yardage, and they still come back.
We see Lessard coming in motion. Nagel looking. Good pocket formed up here, and there we see the seam right there as he brings the ball upfield all the way down to the 39-yard line of Barlow. Tight formation this time. Gives to Lessard. Lessard looking for a block. He's got a block on the outside. He's going around the corner. Down to the 20, 15, and finally pulled out of bounds at the 10-yard line. At the 10-yard line by number 11, Phil Freeman. Freeman saves the touchdown as Matt Lessard gets to the outside. And as you said before, Jerry, there were a couple folks out there led by number 72 on the block, Duck Boss, that name that we hear so often, offensive and defensive line player.
Here's the replay, Coach. Hopefully we'll see how well they establish that corner. You can see that they've really got everybody staggering or knocked down. Excellent.
Sean Markham, 55, also out there. So it'll be 1st and 10 now from the 14-yard line. Quick pitch to the left this time. And there's Lessard. Lessard looked like he may have gone down, but kept his balance as number 30 got in there quickly and got a hand on him. That was David Douglas. And Douglas trips him up, but Lessard with that great balance, able to keep going.
What a great play there. Great play by the defender, Douglas. He shot through there. He had a hold of him. He made a nice hit on Lessard, but Lessard with tremendous balance. He put his one hand down. His knees were both knees had to be about 2 inches from the ground, but did not touch. He kept his balance and still made it back to the line of scrimmage.
Barlow takes another timeout here with 1:37 to go in the half. And of course, it would be a big boost really for Barlow to be able to stop Gresham at this point, as Gresham has just marched down the field and basically gone to their power game and been able to move the ball against Barlow.
2 plays, Jim, 2 plays. One where Nagel had to run the ball because his receivers were covered, and then the breakaway down the line, down the sideline by Lessard. They can chunk you with those big long gains just about the time you think you have them stopped.
Kelly Larkin, the defensive coordinator from the Barlow Bruins, out there talking to his defensive charges. And of course, this is a key situation, probably emotionally as much as anything for the Bruins. They've got to rise to the occasion here with 1:37 to go in the half and somehow try to keep Gresham out of that end zone. I formation this time. Jones flank left. Womack split right. Nagel back to pass, looking out here, and to the short man, that's Justin McCluskey, number 82. A great job by Tyler Nagel that time. Nagel dumping the ball off to see if he can get the field pressure, and he quickly dumps the ball to Justin McCluskey, number 82.
Feel sorry for Matt Boyle. Matt Boyle usually is a pretty good tackler, Jim, and that time the receiver kind of gave him a little slow step, and Matt kind of went down to his shoes and allowed the pass reception to go for a touchdown.
Waiting for the extra point now. Marley to kick. And it's good. So the Gresham Gophers move out to a 14-0 lead as they march down the field. After holding off the Barlow Bruins, they march from their own 15-yard line, 85 yards on that drive. Being culminated on a 4-yard pass from Tyler Nagel to Justin McCluskey.
Very disheartening for Barlow. They had him in the hole, had 2 chances to score, as you've mentioned, Jim, and then allow Gresham to march the entire length of the field for a touchdown just before the halftime. Hopefully, Barlow will be able to overcome that and come back and hang in there the second half.
Well, Barlow's going to, of course, have a minute 31 here to try to get something going. And I would imagine the main thing, of course, you got to be real careful here because you can't give up at this point. You have to really be pumped up. Otherwise, Gresham, of course, 131, they can score again. So you have to be very careful with that.
Yeah, you can't have an intercepted pass or a fumble or maybe even just 3 downs and punt. You've got to establish a little ground game to hang on to that ball.
Deep for Barlow is number 1, Todd Kerr, and 22, Ray Livingston. Barlow to kick, short kick up. Number 25 takes the ball. Luke Scherler, and Scherler is knocked down. Number 28 in there quickly was Lance Fuller along with 47, Todd McLean. So the Bruins will take over from their own 34. And it'll be interesting to see whether Coy Zimmerman tries to go ahead and get something on the scoreboard or whether or not he's going to be content to go in and try to regroup at halftime. Bill Freeman brings them up. They'll run out of the eye. 21, Brandon Wiley, the up back. Rich Nevis, the deep back. Looking out to the left is Freeman. Freeman going for Garrison, and Garrison with a great catch that time. Derek Garrison, the tight end, goes up high and catches that ball with his hands with 2 defenders on him. And a very nice job that time by Derek Garrison. They're going to get that ball moving down there as quickly as they possibly can.
That's a real fine catch. It's nice to have those tall receivers. They're going down and out jumping the defenders.
Unbalanced right, out of the I formation again. Matt Boyle, flank left, Kerr to the right. Freeman looking downfield, looking down. He's got a man. It's Garrison down the sideline. And Garrison was open that time, Jerry, but Freeman just kind of let that ball float too far out of bounds.
He actually released that ball almost a split second before he should have. But you never know what to do when you have Gresham linemen coming in at you. He did have the time. The pattern hadn't quite established itself. Had he been able to hold it maybe for just about a half a second longer, it would have been, the timing would have been just perfect.
Phil Freeman brings him up again. 2nd down and 10 now. Ball at the 45-yard line. Gresham, Freeman back to pass. Lots of pressure on, out to the outside. And Matt Boyle making an outside cut as the ball is thrown over his head. And it looks like Freeman is starting to show a little bit of the effects of the pressure that Gresham is putting on. Because, of course, Freeman isn't real tall, and some of those Gresham linemen are getting right up in his face.
And the ball, I don't know. The ball just seems to be, like you say, sailing a little bit. And sometimes, Phil Freeman's played both ways. Sometimes he might be just getting a little bit weary at this time. And not that he doesn't have the conditioning, but he might be not throwing it as positive as he probably should.
Third down now, 10, 59 seconds to go. Freeman from the backside. He's hit just as he releases the ball. It goes up, and Todd Kerr unable to make the catch as Rob Womack is over there along with Mike Strand. Strand and Womack on the coverage as they've been most of the evening.
Lance Fuller, number 28, he was the one that came down here and made that tackle on the kickoff, and he's a quick little ball player, and he got in there and hit Freeman just as he threw that ball.
So Barlow will have to punt now with 53 seconds to go. Rich Nevis back to punt. Deep for Jones. Oh, almost blocked in there. And Womack takes it on about the 13, brings it up the sideline, and is tackled right there by Matt Boyle. 10 on 10 that time. As number 10, Matt Boyle tackles number 10, Rob Womack, on the 16-yard line, where the Gophers will take over with 44 seconds to go here in the half. And the Gophers can do it. They certainly have shown that Nagel has the arm, that he can move the ball downfield very quickly, and they have all of their timeouts left, so they do have some time to move. Although the clock is rolling now, they split Strand out to the left. I formation this time. Draw this time. Number 49 is Lessard. And Lessard up to the 21-yard line, and obviously what they were thinking there is maybe, just maybe, Matt Lessard can break one of those long ones and take it down.
They're definitely capable of doing that, and I was very, very interested to see that time how spread and open the interior of that line was on that draw action. He went back there, and I don't know what happened to those defensive linemen from Barlow, but they definitely were turned very wide to the outside and left a very large hole in there, and it was kind of surprising he didn't even get more than the 7 yards or 6 yards that he did get.
So it'll be second down and 4 now with 26 seconds to go. The ball is spotted on the 21-yard line of Gresham. And Gresham will be, they still have 2 timeouts left, so Tyler Nagel has gone to the bench, gotten a play, and he'll bring his people back up to the line of scrimmage. And I would imagine here, Jerry, that they might go for 1 and then possibly just go ahead and let the clock run out.
Well, they're in, they got the 2 split receivers. It's a passing formation for them.
Rolling to the left, Nagel looking downfield, and he throws the ball short. That's John Valadez down there. Valadez 24, and the ball was short of Valadez. Valadez had 3 receptions in 1 ball game for touchdown, so certainly no stranger to the end zone.
He did have the tight end crossing in there, but the tight end was covered pretty well. So he actually overthrew the tight end and threw short of the wide receiver. I think it was basically a throwaway pass.
Third down and 4 now. 19 seconds to go here in the first half, with the Gresham Gophers leading 14-0 over the Barlow Bruins. And Gresham just basically grinding. You know, it doesn't look like they have a super amount of emotion in this ball game, Jerry, but yet they're a classy enough program where they know what they have to do to get the job done. There's Matt Lessard breaking it up. Lessard looking for the opening, and all of a sudden, Matt Lessard out to the 37-yard line with 12 seconds to go here in the half, and they called another timeout. So Gresham will think about it once more. I think they were probably going to be willing to run the clock out until Matt Lessard all of a sudden pops one loose, as he can do so easily.
Again, what you were talking about Gresham not being fired up, or whether they are fired up or whatever it is, the thing that is compensating any of that emotion is the fact that they execute so well. Their blocks are done with real precision, and the runners are just getting enough openings that allowing them to get those big yardage.
Well, it's almost a businessman-like approach. You know, a very business-like approach. As they come out there, they go through, and they know exactly what they have to do to execute, and they're doing last week where they knew so much was on the line. It was such a critical situation last week. This is more for pride and also just tuning things up for the playoffs, but they are very, very poised and, you know, very professional in the way that they've approached the game tonight. And trying to get the long pass off was Tyler Nagel, but in there very quickly, the Barlow Bruins. get the sack. And on the bottom of that pile, number 45, David Benner, with the sack, David Benner. And that brings to close here the first half of play as the Gresham Gophers jump out to a 14-0 lead over the Barlow Bruins. And we'll be back with some halftime stats and information after these messages. Pitch out is to Rich Nevis. Rich